Open space technology is a means and ways of having conversations that's fully autonomous, so anyone can call a session, and it's non-hierarchical, so there are no name badges and there's no way of meeting people from a place of power or status. So it's a flat level way of having important conversations that you might not necessarily have in other arenas.
Today we're talking about what do we do about the performing arts, and it's a really big question, and the lovely thing I think about open space is that people interpret that in lots of different ways. It's a great way of looking at all of the different perspectives that there are in the sector about challenges and about things that we're maybe doing well or that we haven't thought about.
It's nice just to have a structure, and then you don't design the structure, you can just get to the conversation. People propose sessions or topics that they want to address or discuss, and then people are free to join those sessions, move around the room, and people have different roles, I suppose, or ways of navigating those spaces and conversations.
We've had 2 years of people coming into the sector and joining the sector who haven't been able to network, so it's great meeting new colleagues and also reconnecting with people that I haven't seen for some time.
There has been a lot of opportunities, I think, for freelancers, individual artists, if you like, to find a place to speak together. I think this is a great forum for that. It's very accessible, a really open way of allowing people to speak that maybe you wouldn't necessarily feel in a traditional group setting.
It might be that you need help putting an artwork together, or it might be that you have a concern about where the performance arts are going in this country. It could be anything, but the point is that if it's a question that's alive in you, then chances are it's going to be alive to everybody else in that community as well. So it's important to be able to call a session and to do so openly.
Everybody can have their voice heard, and everybody can be here and talk about what's close to their own heart or their own art or their own way of seeing the world, and they can share and find other people that maybe have something to say on that topic. I personally have been here 15 years, and at the same time it's still very difficult sometimes to break in, to enter, and there are places like this that make you, a little bit less scared, a little bit more welcome, and where your voice is heard.
I think this says it all. Today is a day about our sector coming together to talk about the performing arts. So it's brought up a lot of questions for me about the arts and about the echo chambers within the arts. And I was interested to see some of the circles forming and some of the circles shifting and cross-pollinating.
For me, there's something really rich about looking people in the eye and hearing their voice and feeling other bodies in the room with you. There have been questions around why audiences aren't coming back in the numbers we might have hoped to theatres. There's been questions about managing instability, questions about burnout and slowing down, questions around pace of work, questions of inclusion and exclusion, and these are the things that have been on my mind, but it's great to hear how other people are coming at them and framing the questions.
When we reopened, we saw the return of audiences at the start, and it feels to me that there had been a slowing down and not the same level of increase in audience that we were expecting at this point. And I wanted to explore if that had been the experience for others, and also if that is the case, what we need to do. And it's been fascinating because people have been sharing their own lived experience of the last period, but also coming up with ideas of why that might be and things that we could look at to address it. And definitely these are things that I wouldn't have come to sitting at home or in my office on my own.
I called a session called Clinically Vulnerable, Did We Forget? As things opened up, that meant having to retreat again. Some people, for different reasons, not feeling comfortable coming back into buildings, and I'd just be really interested to see where people are at with that.
What I love about forums is that they're always the beginning. A lot of provocations don't always land in the moment, but are brought with you from the room. And I'm looking forward to seeing the penny drop for me and for others about what the lived experience is for everyone within the sector, and particularly the artist, the independent artist, who doesn't have the system, the support around them that perhaps other people within our sector has.
things are in a state. They were in a state before the pandemic and they have been in a state during, and I think taking space out of our working days to gather together and ask kind of big picture questions or do some blue sky thinking together as artists, as arts workers, is a really powerful way to spend an afternoon. We can affect change. I do think that there are kernels of things that can be seeded today that will bring about some change, hopefully.
Now we're back together, we're back in the same room. It's like, okay, how can we help each other? Because maybe what's easy for me can be difficult for someone else, but that the opposite is true, and just get together and problem solve and see what can we do differently. But it's just the beginning, you know, it's just seed, and then we need to see what sprouts out from that seed. And also there is all the work I hope is going to come after this, that's what is going to show us what's going to happen next. I'm excited to see that.